Alistair Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to take a short call.
That was mean.
That's fair enough. I rise to take a short call, Mr. Speaker, in support of this bill. And I'd like to just address a couple of points. The first point is the tax rate that applies to the income that is derived from the churning of houses across the country. And the tax rate is the lower of 28% if you're a company, or 33% if you're an individual, or 10% of the sale price. Mr. Speaker, I wonder what that tax rate would be if the UBI might have been introduced, what the universal benefit idea of the opposition might be, what that rate would be if the universal benefit idea was introduced, where $11,000 is given to every person in New Zealand, naming everyone as a beneficiary. I'd be interested to hear from the opposition what the tax rate would be in this piece of legislation if their universal bad idea was introduced. The second point, sir, I'd like to address is the point made by Stuart Nash, where he asked for some sort of leniency for those students who are owed money to the government simply because they live in Australia. It was also picked up by the Green speaker, where she said that, why are we chasing these students? Well, it's pretty straightforward, Mr. Speaker. It's because they owe the money. They owe the money to the taxpayer. And why wouldn't they and shouldn't they repay the money that is owed to the taxpayer? After all, the contract was signed by the student, and just because they live in Australia doesn't mean they don't understand their obligations as a student. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll leave it at that. I've addressed a couple of points raised by the opposition, and I commend this bill to the House.